This video is a demo and a deeper dive into what I mean when I say spread the earth with your feet. I talk about it all the time in so many of my videos. You may have also heard the term corkscrewing your feet when you're doing Olympic lifting or any kind of free weights. It's just a really important engagement tool for your body, and I wanted to give a brief but more in-depth explanation so that you know that you are doing this correctly. You need one stick. I'll leave a link in the description below for where you can get your stick mobility sticks, but you can also use a dowel, a broomstick, a Swiffer, whatever you got. So let's get to it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, click the bell for notifications, like this video, and be sure to come back to the stick mobility playlist for more. So what do I mean when I say spreading the earth with your feet? I talk about this all the time, especially for clubbelling, and it's literally pulling that inner thigh meat forward, thinking about externally rotating your feet and your knees. So the hips would be externally rotating, but you're not actually moving them. So I know you don't see much happening, even though you feel a lot when you're doing it correctly. So grab your stick, and I'm going to show you from several different views so that you really get a sense of this. First, we're going to start in the position that you are most likely going to be doing clubbelling, Olympic lifting, regular weightlifting. Your feet are going to be about hip width apart, right? That stick is right at 12 o'clock in the center. You're just pushing that stick down into the ground. This is really just to give you a little bit more feedback, right? So when you're just standing here, you push the stick down into the ground, and now I want you to think about squeezing your glutes, engage the glutes, and think about pressing, otherwise known as corkscrewing, your feet down and out, right? So we're externally rotating. So you're pushing that stick down, you're turning the feet as if they're going to go out. You just don't want to actually make this happen. You want to try and keep those feet facing forward as much as is comfortable. If you have a little 45-degree turn naturally, that's where you start. That's totally fine. But I'm going to start here, pushing this stick down into the ground, and then squeeze the glutes, tuck that pelvis under, and all of a sudden, this thigh meat comes forward, the glutes are engaged, the legs are engaged, knees. You think about pressing those feet away. Same position, just giving you a 3/4 view. So right now, I'm not spreading the earth with my feet, I'm just pushing that stick into the ground and spreading the earth with my feet. Glutes engaged, pushing my feet down and externally rotating. Pretty simple, right? Make sure you're breathing. The hard thing is when you're doing other work, it takes a lot to remember that until it becomes basic muscle memory. So fully from the side, not spreading the earth, pushing that stick down into the ground, spreading the earth with my feet. And my glutes are engaged. My pelvis is tucked, right? Everything is working in my lower body to begin to externally rotate, but I'm not actually rotating. I'm just trying to while staying engaged in this position. Here you go from the back. I think this is a great way to really see the glutes engaged. So same exact position. Feet are hip width apart, pushing that stick down into the ground. And now I'm going to spread the earth with my feet. Glutes are engaged, pelvis is tucked, feet are spreading. And relaxed. So, it looks easy because I have been practicing this for a very long time. It's not always that easy. And not everybody's positioning, especially for their feet, looks like mine, right? So you work with what you have and where you are today. If your feet naturally kind of go outward, that's okay. You're still able to do this same exact exercise. And we're going to make this a little more extreme. So I want you to really think about pushing your feet out to the sides. If we were standing at a clock, they'd be at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. That stick is at 12 o'clock. So this is going to be a little bit more difficult. It's going to be more taxing, and it's not actually going to work as well, but you still get the sense of what we're doing. You're pushing that stick down into the ground. Your feet are as far out to the side as you can do. Push that stick down, and now you're trying to pull your knees inward, squeezing the glutes, internally rotating here, right? I'm trying to bring my hips inward. Feet are trying to go inward, and you push. But because my feet are pushing down into the ground, they're not actually going to move inward unless I let them. So now, same position, we're going to do external rotation. And because the legs are already externally rotated, they're not going to go very far. There's just not that much more for them to do. So pushing that stick down into the ground, squeeze the glutes, try to externally rotate, and you can see I just want to start to bend and get into a deeper squat so that I can open my knees more. That's natural. That's part of what's going to happen when you're trying to externally rotate more than your body's really going to allow. So just so that you can see this again from this sideways position. Now the clock is going this way. This is 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Pressing that stick down into the ground. And I'm going to internally rotate. I'm going to try and bring my knees toward the stick. I have a bit of range. I can do this. You feel how your glutes engage. You feel this work in front of your hips, all the way to the inside, that instep of your feet. And relax. Now we're going to externally rotate. Push that stick down into the ground, externally rotate, and I want to get into a squat, right? Automatically, for me to push my knees outward, I have to go down. That's the only real option I have. Here, they're not going to go very far, but you do feel glutes engage. You feel the inside line of your foot really working. So now, we're going to try this in another difficult kind of position. With those feet internally rotated. So now your feet, your knees, your hips are already internally rotated. For a lot of people, this is not a comfortable position to be in already. Stick is at 12 o'clock. You're going to think about externally rotating. So knees will push outward, hips will try and open up. Push that stick down into the ground and externally rotate, squeezing the glutes, tucking the pelvis. This is pretty difficult, and you can tell I'm not able to get as much engagement here. I'm going to show you from behind so you can see that the glutes just don't turn on as well when I'm in this kind of a position. Pushing that stick down into the ground, and I'm trying to externally rotate, but there's nowhere near as much glute engagement, right? We're going to try internally rotating from here. Well, we're already in a pretty deep internal rotation. So pushing those sticks down into the ground, you're going to try and internally rotate. And you know what happens? My butt tries to go back so that my knees can come together. So again, no glute engagement here, right? I'm going to show this from the side. Feet are internally rotated, hips are internally rotated. And as I try to internally rotate more, you see the back starts to arch and my knees want to come together, but there's no glute engagement, not really. There's a lot of groin. We'll show this from the back too. Push that stick down into the ground, internally rotate. And it can be a minor movement. This is very small. You're just really noticing what part of that lower body engages. So coming back to the normal, natural way we will most likely stand, walk, train. In this generally hip width apart, if your feet are a little bit more angled out, that's totally fine. You'll still be able to feel this. I use the extremes so that you can really visualize and see it, and then you go to where you are today. So if your feet are in this kind of 45-degree angle, that's fine. As soon as you start to internally rotate, you see how your feet want to turn in, your knees want to turn in, your glutes turn on, right? If you're externally rotating, you can feel the thigh meat come forward, glutes engage. Pushing that stick down, external rotation, you get that little bit of a tuck. From here, pushing that stick down into the ground, everything is just relaxed. And then we internally rotate. So that whole inner line of both of the legs are really engaged. You feel the core working. But it does not feel like a really strong position. As opposed to when you externally rotate, push that stick down, external rotation, all of a sudden I feel more solid. My core is working, glutes are working, feet are pressing down into the ground, and relax. One more from behind, because I think it's helpful to see how much the glutes engage when you do this. So, with that little 45-degree angle, open with your feet, pressing that stick down, internal rotation. You can see my glutes are not really engaged. And relax. External rotation. Suddenly everything is engaged, and I even feel taller doing this. The point is, if you don't have perfect posture, how many of us do, right? And if your feet don't naturally fall into this place, or coming into this, both feet forward is really uncomfortable for you, you start where it's comfortable. Maybe 10% discomfort where you're working on bringing them forward, facing forward. If you can get here and this feels comfortable and natural for you, then as soon as you spread the earth with your feet, externally rotate, corkscrewing those feet down into the ground, you feel your glutes engage, thighs engage, knees, ankles, everything is on. So this is a really important concept, because when you are throwing weight around, all of a sudden, this lower half of the body engaging makes all of the movement, especially the control of the weight, a little bit easier. So when you are doing some kind of clubbell exercise, like a circle, a mill, anything, and bringing it back into order, that's spreading the earth with your feet, that corkscrew movement, that helps everything engage to bring you up to order just a little bit easier. Which is why I'm always talking about it when we do clubbelling. So whether your feet are facing forward or slightly opened, angled out, if I'm just going to do this, as soon as I start spreading the earth with my feet, I can hold this for longer. I'm in this order position. It's nice and strong. Still work, because this is a 10-pound club. So this is work, but because I'm using the entire body, it makes it a little easier. I go into a circle, spread the earth with your feet. When I come back to order, this is where it really helps me. Same kind of concept for those shoulder casts or shield casts, right? If I'm not spreading the earth with my feet, this becomes a whole lot of work, and you'll often see that your core opens up and you're not engaged here either, right? So spread the earth with your feet, glutes engage, core engages, and then all of a sudden this becomes simple. And it actually feels like less work. So I hope this helps. And I hope you have an opportunity to see it and try it and really get that sense of, as soon as you spread the earth with your feet, thigh meat comes forward, glutes are engaged, you feel stronger, you feel taller. So I love to do this kind of exercise out in the world when I'm just waiting in a line, instead of this position or some version of that, which we all fall into naturally. I'm just going to try and engage and relax, engage and relax, so that this becomes muscle memory. I hope this helps. I would love to hear how you get on in the comments and if there's anything else that you'd like for me to take a deeper dive in explaining for you. So thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And please, don't forget to come back for more Club Bell videos, and be sure to check out all of my social media where I have little other tips and tricks.